Welcome to Subway Sports Talk.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
All right, here we go. Subway Sports Talk. My name is Peter Kennedy, and I am your host. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in to SST on Apple Podcasts app, Spotify, and on YouTube. Joining me today, first timer on Subway Sports Talk, first timer on SST here, and I couldn't be more excited to talk to this guy in this setting because we've had conversations in a different setting in our other place of work where we talk about sports, WFAN. This is my good buddy, one of my favorite hosts to work with, Cintron. Subway Sports Talk debut. Brother, thank you for joining the show.
Wake your asses up. Let's go, baby. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. It's a great time to be you right now because of your Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels, amongst your electric record with your NFL and college football picks, which maybe we'll talk about your style on the picks later, but we'll definitely get into the Commanders. We're going to get into Juan Soto. You and I share the fandom of the New York Mets, and we're going to end up the show with the New York Knicks. He's my infamous take on Twitter, at my infamous take, Cintron. Man, it's great to talk to you here. We've had many conversations when I'm producing for you at the Fan, and it's a pleasure to be here. One thing that we share together, though, is our love for the New York Mets. And I don't know if you've been feeling the noise in New York right now about Juan Soto and the New York Yankees and the New York Mets and these BS reports, but you always have a great meter for BS out there, whether it be from callers, writers, actual players themselves. I don't know. So I need to ask you, where is your Juan Soto meter at right now as a Mets fan, as a radio host, as Cintron?
It hasn't changed since June. I think it was in June the series the Mets beat the shit out of the Yankees, and they were doing the OMG at Yankee Stadium, and Juan Soto saw all that. How the Mets were having all the fun and, the Yankees are corporate, shave this, shave that, whatever. And it changed from what I heard, it changed for Soto's opinion of playing for the Mets. He loved it in the beginning of the Yankees, the energy from the fans in right field. I know Yankee fans don't want to hear this, and some have called me saying it's bullshit, but I trust who's telling me what they're telling me, or else they wouldn't tell me this. So I've thought since that series that he's going to be a Met. And I also said, it's funny. These fucking writers and experts, bro. They're funny. I said it in, I want to say July. I could be wrong. That the word I got, and these are the exact words, the Mets are going to offer Juan Soto a blank check. Now, if you've been looking at the headlines for the last week or two, what's the words that have been used? Mets and blank check, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said it, I had that months ago, but people thought I was bullshitting because, I've only been on the Fan for a year now, and I don't know anybody. Well, suck a fat one, because that's the words that the media is using now. There's no FCC regulations, correct? So I can say whatever I want here,
good,
correct? All right, we're not the Fan right now. From 2 to 5 to Saturday morning, I gotta, I'm regulated, but now I don't. So suck a fat one for all the people that have always said that I'm bullshit, that always just making stuff up, whether it was McNeil was the bad apple, then you heard the Mets joke about Happy Jeff. Yeah, that was no joke. That was the truth. And I told you idiots that a while ago. So I was right about that again. But the Juan Soto thing, getting back to that, I think he's the Mets to lose. And if Steve Cohen's going to pay him, he's got the meeting. Now you got to do is often, they're going to give you a number. And if you match that number right there and then, what's the point of Juan Soto, me, and everybody else?
Yeah, it has to be the Mets or the Yankees at this point, right? Because the Mets are definitely outbidding everybody else. The only real question mark is, are the Yankees willing to match that? Are the Yankees going to get big broed by the little bro, right? Because I get it. Me and you are both Met fans. We love what happened this year. It was freaking incredible. But are they truly going to step up to the plate, outbid the Yankees, and steal their cookies? Like, straight up. Juan Soto was a Yankee this year. He was a dog. He was a beast. He was best player on the team in the playoffs. Giancarlo Stanton perhaps, maybe, right? But if the Mets do finish this deal and take Juan Soto from Yankees, I don't know how Yankee fans are going to recover from that one, Al. Like, that is a next level stealing. Like, if people talk about Steve Cohen, he kind of played nice with the Judge thing. He didn't want to go out there and blank check off for Judge, didn't feel right. This Juan Soto thing, it was a 1-year rental. He's already been on 3 teams. He's 25. He's one of the best players we've seen in the last, 15, 20 years. If the Mets go ahead and do this, this is monumental. This is a game changer. And he's joining a team with seemingly a culture of more energy than the Yankees. And Yankees fans sitting here punching the air saying that we're biased right now. But I don't think it's even a question that the Mets' energy is at a different level and much better than where the Yankees were despite their World Series appearance.
Let me ask you a question. Who looked like they were having more fun from June on, the Mets or the Yankees?
Oh, my God. It's not even close, bro. And the Yankees fans weren't even having fun. They were in the World Series.
Yeah. Now, if you ask the former Yankees that were on the Mets this year, they said the same thing. They've never been around this. This is amazing energy. We'll see what happens when they offer Severino a 2-year deal. If he takes it or he goes to the Tigers for 3, we'll see about that. But as far as me, the Yankee fans being upset, I can give a rat's ass about that stupid ass fan base. I don't care about the Yankee fans, the team, whatever. I respect the team. I don't respect the fans. It goes to show in Game 1 when they try to, rip the ball out of Mookie Betts' hands in the outfield. Was that Game 1? No, Game 3. Game 3. Sorry,
Game 3. First Game 1 in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, and then that guy became a cold tear. No, it was Game 4. Sorry, and then they got eliminated the next night when they were saying, "Oh, this is a great thing." Whatever his name is, Joey Badaboombo, whatever his name is, that did that in the outfield. And what happened? They lost. And way to show us how it's done, big brothers. We appreciate you. Win 1 game, we won 2. But this is a new time. This is Steve Cohen's time to put his foot on the throat of the Yankees in his town. Of Major League Baseball, he's played nice long enough. He dipped his toe in the water with Judge, let's say, sort of, to see what the reaction would be. Then he went full blown for Carlos Correa. Thank God that didn't work out, because we would have been dealing with that injury, with him injured for how many years? Juan Soto's 25, 26 years old. He's got one of the best eyes in the game. He's a game changer. He's clutch. He's won a World Series, and he put him in this lineup with Francisco Lindor. And I don't know what's going to happen with Pete Alonso, but from the jump, I've been seeing Vientos to first, Mauricio at third. I'm missing somebody. Acuna at second, and shortstop Lindor. They're going to trade McNeil. They might even trade Mauricio. Who knows what's going to go on? But this is about Juan Soto, and I think Juan Soto, is all said and done, will be wearing a New York Mets jersey for the rest of his career.
Wow. I got to be honest, we didn't speak about this beforehand. I didn't think you would come out with this much confidence about Juan Soto becoming a Met. I was kind of seeing what you thought about the reports and the validity of it, and if you thought they were BS. I gotta say this. I think most of the reports that are out there right now are trash. I'll say that. Like, half of these accounts that are out there on Twitter, it's just like NYM.
Don't
Twitter,
don't even give him don't even do that, because I know.
No, I didn't say it.
Yeah, okay, good, because
I didn't say it. I said NYM Twitter account.
I just muted that account because there's no sources, bro.
There's no source. That's my point. They don't got sources. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. That's why I tweeted out earlier this week when they said indications that the Mets are gonna. I said, it was me who said this months ago, and one source, and I left it at that. Like, I've been confident since that whole Mets Yankees. Like I said, the OMG in the dugout. Juan Soto saw all this, saw all the fun they were having, and Juan Soto's a baller. He don't want to be caught up in this corporate He just wants to go out there and play ball and have fun. And the Mets did exactly that. And the fans rallied around this for one season. To end the season, this Met fan base was not negative. When's the last time that happened with this fan base? It's rarely happened, if that.
And I got to say this too. In years past, you would say, how could you choose the Mets over the Yankees? Look where the Yankees are. Look where the Mets are. I know technically the Yankees made it farther in this playoffs, but they really ended at the same place. They really did. They got beat by the Dodgers. That's how it ended. The Mets were one step away, give or take how you want it. They're neck and neck, in my opinion. And you could argue the Mets are on an upper trajectory, where the Yankees fans hated this team all along. The entire year they hated this team. So Juan Soto could look at this situation and say, yeah, you know what? If I go to that Mets team, I am their missing piece. I thought I was coming to the Yankees to be their missing piece, and this lineup still didn't have enough juice. So there's a baseball argument to this as well that isn't just, oh, big bro, little bro. There's a baseball argument to this as well, where Juan Soto can look at the two situations and say, yeah, I'm choosing Lindor and Vientos and et cetera over Judge and Stanton, right? And I don't think that's a crazy thing. I know Judge is Judge, but we also know Judge is Judge in the playoffs too.
Whoa. Don't get Aaron Judge.
Hey now.
Yeah. Mr. I heard the callers calling in, Judge is going to come through in the playoffs. And before the season, when I did my Mets Yankees preview on the Fan, I said, for the Yankees, it's not what Judge does in a regular season. It's going to be in the playoffs. If Judge performs in the playoffs, then the sky's the limit for the Yankees. If he doesn't, I don't care what Juan Soto did. I don't care what Stanton did. I don't care what any of them. They only went so far. Now, it's not their fault they had a cakewalk with the Royals and the Guardians. It's not their fault that the Astros gagged. It's not their fault the Orioles were crappy since June. It's not their fault. And good for them. They made the World Series. I'm not taking anything away from them. But when it was time for the clutch play to come up clutch, his 6'8" ass was 4'2". He was small. And Juan Soto could see what the Mets did, how they rallied, how they didn't quit, how they have Mendoza now, who's a leader, and they have a culture. You kept hearing that when the season was over. We have a culture. We established a culture. We hold people accountable. That's the one thing that's been missing for the Mets. So whoever was the owner, it's there now. And now you have to fit in with them. They don't have to fit in with you. You have to fit in with them. And I have a feeling, like I said, Steve Cohen's got the first meeting. He's going to L.A. to meet with Boris, and if they're going to give a number, and if Steve Cohen says, here it is, there's no reason for Juan Soto to meet with anybody else. He got what he wanted.
And man, from your lips to God's ears, if this happens, which now my confidence went from like a 40%, you might have got me over. You might have got me over the threshold, bro, because I was at like a 35% chance maybe, and now I might be at 55. I might be over the hump right now, but I might just be drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit too. Because frankly, listen, if the Yankees retain Juan Soto, it won't be shocking. But you're kind of making me feel like it won't be shocking if they don't as well, which is exciting to hear.
No, well, there's a reason they checked in on Pete Alonso. It wasn't, there's a reason, trust me. If for the third time, and I'll say it on the air Saturday morning, let's say I'm just gonna make a number up. They say, hey, Steve, it's 10 years, $600 million. This is what we want. And Steve Cohen says, done. Why does he have to meet with anybody else? Yeah. Why?
Well, he goes back to the Yankees, and when Hal Steinbrenner, throws up on himself for $600 million, then he goes right back to Queens. How you doing?
Yeah, okay. Hal
he has to give the Yankees a chance to counter.
No, he doesn't. He's a free agent. He does not. He doesn't have to do that.
He doesn't have to, but he will.
Jacob deGrom didn't do that because Texas told him. They told him, this is what the stories that are out there. Here's the offer. If you go back to the Mets, then don't come back to us. Right. Steve Cohen could put his foot down, do the same thing. Could do the same thing.
Did the Yankees extended a qualifying offer? Does that work the same way it does in basketball, that the Yankees have a chance to match? Is that?
Wait, I don't even know. I've been so out of the loop.
I'm pretty sure. And
the qualifying offers.
I don't know how qualifying offers work in baseball.
Is it draft picks? Isn't it you get draft picks?
Oh, you get like the compensation?
I think so.
Because I know I got a notification that they gave a qualifying offer to Juan Soto, which, like, is that a slap in the face? Even, I don't know. Like, just sign him now. But also, and last thing, because we got to move on to football here.
Sure.
So all the people out there who think this is, like, happening now, I will say this. I think you're going to have to wait either way. Is that something you agree with, too? Like, this isn't happening next week. This is happening closer to winter meetings and et cetera.
There's a reason I don't think it's going to take forever, and that's Boris's other client, Pete Alonso. Mm-hmm. So if he wants to get his guys in camp, the lesson learned from last season is my guys got in late and they pretty much sucked. Except for Blake Snell's second half of the season. Chapman struggled. He got his extension with the Giants as well. He got his money. Jordan Montgomery stunk. JD Martinez got into camp late, started off well, then stunk. So I'm sure his clients are like, listen, we don't want to get this done late. I think the Juan Soto thing, I think it happens fast. I don't think it's going to take forever like all these other things do, because of the fact that he's got Pete Alonso, who's next in line.
Right. And at this point, Boris is going to get another PR hit if he doesn't handle this offseason right. And that's going to play a factor here, because he took a lot of crap last year, all deserved, because he fumbled the bag on all those guys last year. And they ended up getting decent money here, decent money there, but it was not what he expected. It's not his standard, all that stuff. So,
well, the other thing I will say, Pete, the other thing I will say is, the other client is he's got Blake Snell as well. So Montgomery opted in. Snell is available. Alonso's available. Soto's available. You can't take forever with all these guys. These are all your clients. You can't. So I think the Juan Soto thing happens. What's fast to you? And then I'll tell you yes or no. What's fast to you?
What's fast to me for this whole process?
Yeah. Soto, you said you don't think it's going to happen fast. I think it happens fast.
Well, I think, like, it's going to be at least to like the winter meetings when like the hot stove is happening. It's not going to be like the first deal, I don't think.
What date is that? The hot stove? Do we know?
Oh, I mean, it's been the lukewarm stove in the MLB for the past couple of years, if we're being honest, mostly because of guys like Scott Boras. But I'll confirm that.
Exactly.
Let's see. Winter meetings are December 8th to 12th. I think that you're going to have to at least wait until December. I don't think it's happening in November.
I think stuff starts leaking out. He's going to, if he does meet with these other teams, like I said, the only way I think this happens super fast is if they give him a number and he says, I agree. And then there's nothing you can do. There's no reason to wait to the winter meeting. Then Boris can take care of the rest of his clients the rest of the winter meetings. But I don't think the Soto thing, the latest it happens is day one of the winter meetings. The latest.
Okay. I like that. Confident. And just for a record, I just looked it up. Qualifying offers in the MLB are just for clubs wishing to get compensatory draft picks.
Yep.
If you don't retain the player. So it's not like basketball where you get a matching opportunity.
Nope.
So
it's just a draft.
If anything,
pick. I mean,
that's the Yankees saying like, we got to cover our ass. We got to.
Yeah, well, the Mets did it with Sevy. The Mets did it with a couple other pieces as well. They did it. I think they did it with Petey's not taking it. So we'll see what happens.
Very cool. All right. So that's a little Mets talk and some real confidence from Cintron over there on the
very confident.
We love it. We love it. So my infamous take on Twitter, we're not done yet. We got to talk some football. We're going to get to some Knicks as well. We're going to talk Jets in a moment, but I have to start here with your team because frankly, it's beneficial that you are a Washington fan who's probably watched every single down so far this year. But well, you know what I'm saying? It is when you're working those overnights sometimes, and you got to sleep and you're like, crap, I woke up at 1:25. There's a bunch of touchdowns on the board already. It gets tough, but I see what you're saying. So it works out because this is not just a Washington story right now. Jaden Daniels is an NFL story. It is a countrywide story. He's a phenomenon. He is doing things that rookies do not typically do, right? He is on this true path here where it is just next level. Like if I told you the Commanders were tied for first in the NFL on EPA per play per quarterback drop back, tied with Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, ahead of Josh Allen, ahead of Mahomes, ahead of Goff and the Lions, ahead of the Eagles, everybody. Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, number 1, number 2 on efficiency rating. It's out of control, Al. So it's been a weird situation for y'all with the quarterback situation in Washington. You must be over the moon here, right? So give me the whole perspective. What's it like for your fan base right now?
Well, I'll tell you this. This doesn't surprise me with Jaden Daniels because before the draft, when I knew where we were picking, I said there's only 2 players I want. And it was Jaden Daniels or Marvin Harrison Jr. If you're going quarterback, Jaden Daniels. If you had the number 1 pick, I would have took Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams. I said that on the air numerous times. I also said that Jaden Daniels is going to do what CJ Stroud did last year and more. And guess what? He's doing that and more. With, I don't know if you could say less talent because the Texans didn't have these marquee names last year neither. And Stroud took him to the playoffs, took the league by storm. Jaden Daniels is him. He is him. A freak athlete, throws a beautiful deep ball. He plays with such confidence, yet he's not cocky. He looks so calm. The moment's never too big for him. How many times see a rookie quarterback come in and he looks shook from the jump? Not Jaden Daniels, man. And the reports came out he didn't want to play in Washington. I know it was bullshit, cold weather. I know it was bullshit. He just wants to win. The kid's a winner, Heisman winner, and it doesn't shock me what he's doing. The fans, I've been to 2 games this year. I went to the Giant game. And when Giant fans are saying, if we had a kicker, well, I don't give a crap if you lost. That's not my fault. Then I went to see Darryl Green's jersey get retired. That was my guy. So even though they played Carolina, I had to be there for that. That was my guy. And that was beautiful to be there for that. The fans, the energy there, they love it. They are excited. They are pumped. There's Jaden Daniels jerseys everywhere. And for me, it's long overdue as a fan. I've sat through a lot of crappy football, a lot of crappy baseball, a lot of crappy basketball since the 2000. A lot of it's been crap. And now it's turned around. And you best believe I'm sticking my chest out. It feels damn good.
How could you not feel amazing about it? I mean, I feel like I'm part of the Jaden Daniels bandwagon. So I drafted him in, I think, 4 out of my 6 fantasy leagues. So I've been riding this wagon. Right? Oh, man. Like, I don't even know. It must have been like one of my drafts. I think I got him in like the 9th round or something like that. Like, I got him.
Shut up!
Bro, there was one draft where I actually got him so late that I forgot that I took a quarterback. I actually took Anthony Richardson and Jaden Daniels, and I was like, because I saw him there at like round 9. I'm like, wait, I got Anthony Richardson. I'm taking Jaden Daniels anyway. And then Richardson's gone. He's not even on my team anymore. Jaden's been my starter since week 3, and I'm like, this is amazing. My team's looking sick right now. He's off the chart. So he's doing a few things that are special to me, and you touched on all of them. But the one thing that is kind of the most impressive that, people who didn't watch him in college are now seeing, he is incredibly accurate. And he, like, under pressure, on the move, he is doing things that rookies don't do. I personally like Caleb Williams, right? I'm not out on him yet. I don't know how you feel about Caleb. I know you said you like Jaden better. You're watching Caleb Williams, and he looks like he's at USC with no help again. He is under duress. He is, fidgeting with his feet in the pocket all along every single play. It's like he can't get comfortable. You are seeing so much comfort and incredible accuracy from Jaden Daniels. And that's something that you just don't see from rookies. So the question now, because you see a lot of these rookies, right? CJ Stroud isn't as successful this year as he was last year. Jordan Love, he was the freaking MVP pick of all time for all these random, talking heads going into this year. Oh, watch out for Jordan Love. I'm like, can we relax, and can we see him do it for more than 6 games here? Like, we forget. With Jaden Daniels, is there even a pathway for that other shoe to drop? Is there a moment where you're going to see him lose some of that confidence or not be as successful? Or do you think what we're seeing is just who he is right now?
Well, we'll see against this pass rush on Sunday, Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh's not that good against the run. The Giants gashed them. The Colts gashed them. And there's another team that gashed them as well, running the ball. Washington is number 1, I believe, in running the ball as well. They're up there, so they can run the ball. We'll see what happens with Brian Robinson Jr.'s hamstring, because he was out last week. We'll see what happens this week. But if it's going to be versus pass rush, if he makes the Steelers pass rush look stupid, remember the Giants sacked him, I think, like 5 or 7 times the last time they played. They got no sacks this past Sunday versus him. So much for that. I know this guy's injured. Kayvon Thibodeau was injured, but I don't give a rat's ass. They got no sacks. This versus this pass rush, if Jaden Daniels goes out there and doesn't get beat up and lights Pittsburgh up, it's over. I don't care what the rest of the league does. The NFC is wide open. The Lions have their weaknesses. Green Bay has a turnover machine at quarterback. The Niners are beat up. Arizona, we whooped their ass by 30 and they're in first place. The Cowboys don't have anybody right now. And the Eagles, they have Nick Sirianni last time I checked, is still their coach. So I'm not worried about them. They'll find Kirk Cousins is Atlanta's coach. He's never won a big game in his life when in the playoffs. So to me, the NFC's wide open. If Jaden Daniels, if the offensive line can stay intact, I worry if an injury happens. That's the one weakness I can see if that happens. Because CJ Stroud's taking a beat in Houston because their O-line is just not good. But Daniels is more mobile than CJ Stroud. I just avoid the big hits. Yeah, avoid the big hits. He's learning. He's finally sliding, which is a great thing. That's one thing he didn't do in college. He took hits. This Sunday, again, if he can play well against Pittsburgh's pass rush and lights them up, it's over. It's over.
Now here's the next question, or last question, I should say, for Washington before we move on to other stuff here. How far can this team go? Because I know the outlook now with Daniels is incredible. Like, the 5-year plan is looking like a beautiful thing right now.
Yeah.
But right here, right now, windows in the NFL don't always stay open super long. And I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves and talk about 3 years from now. They're in line to really compete for the NFC East. They're in line to make the playoffs. They're in line to be one of these teams. We already mentioned how they're on par with the Ravens and the Lions and the Bills when it comes to offensive efficiency. That's real stuff right there. Can Jaden Daniels find himself in an MVP conversation? Can Jaden Daniels find himself in a Super Bowl conversation this year?
Absolutely. He's already, according to, I don't know what betting site it is, 4th or 5th for MVP odds. He's going to win Rookie of the Year runaway. He's won like 6 individual Rookie of the Week awards already. It's just, name it the Daniels Award. It's over with. They traded for Marshawn Lattimore, which is a big deal because that's been one of our weaknesses, is cornerback. It's been one of our weaknesses. And we get a top-notch cornerback who can cover the other team's one. He can play zone. He can do it all. So I'm happy about that pickup. Jaden, listen, the one thing that gives me hope for the future, more hope than ever besides Jaden Daniels, as Adam Schefter said earlier this week, that teams are telling their agents they want to go play in Washington. They want to go play for their Commanders. When the hell in my lifetime Did I hear that happen where teams are saying they want to come there? I know when Gibbs came back, Clinton Portis was getting phone calls saying we want to come play for Gibbs. That didn't work out because of the owner. But the future is bright, brother. Like there's a new team in town. There's a new sheriff in town, and he wears number 5 and he plays quarterback for the Commanders. Get used to it.
And there, for the record here, he is currently tied for 5th on DraftKings with MVP odds. It's Lamar is the favorite, 280 plus 280. Josh Allen 300, Mahomes 400, Goff at 700, and Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts tied at plus 1200. So if you think about that, and you think about the way the rest of this year could play out, and Mahomes stats not being too special, and what Jalen Daniels does with his legs on top of all the passing stats, and say the Ravens lose a couple games, it's not out of the question. Plus 1200 is probably maybe the best it's going to be. So if you do like it, if you do want the ticket, I would say do it now. Because like you said, if he goes out there and balls out against Pittsburgh, that 1200 could become 800, next week, right?
Well,
and
if they win the tournament, if they win the division, you can't. If they win 12 games, win a division, you can't deny. You can't. He's top 3, and for a rookie, top 3.
Especially with their expectations coming into the year.
And I said, if you the easiest money you're gonna win this football season before the season started, I said take Washington over 6.5 wins. Book it. You're just saying it because you're a homer. No. No, the draft was phenomenal. Adam Peters has come from winning organizations, winning coaches. Dan Quinn, even though he blew a 28-3 lead, and the last time you saw him coaching Dallas Stevens, they got lit up. Players love playing for him. The culture is different. When I saw the videos of him coming to the building day 1 with Dan Quinn, I was sold. The energy, the love, the way the players, love him, past and present. Like the future is bright, and I always said, over 6.5 was going to be easy money. And if he gets to 12 wins, rookie. When's the last time has a rookie ever won an NFL MVP?
I don't think there's no way, right? I feel like we'd all know that.
Yeah, I can't think of one.
Unless it was, 19 whatever, and a running back was still winning MVPs back then. That's a different story. But no, I happen to agree with you because it's one of those seasons where right now it's like, all right, Lamar is there, Josh Allen's there, Mahomes is there because he's Mahomes, not because he has great stats or is playing well. But if they go above and beyond and run away with this division, and frankly, these next 2 weeks are huge. It's not just Pittsburgh this week. I believe it's then Philly on Thursday Night Football. And we all know what those primetime games mean to awards races and the national media conversation. So show up and beat Pittsburgh and then go on Thursday night and beat the Eagles, who are playing pretty decent ball right now. I know everyone's making fun of their coach, which he deserves it. They're playing good ball. So if you go beat the Eagles too, goddamn, watch the hell out.
But this has to mean something too in the votes. If a rookie wins 12 games, wins the division, gets the number 1 seed, let's say it's number 1 or number 2 seed, that has to count considering, look at the guys he's going against. Allen, Mahomes, Lamar. Look at the guys that have put in the work, and he's year 1 doing this. Year 1.
And there's no Derrick Henry on the Commanders. There's no Amon-Ra St. Well, I guess actually McLaurin is right there. McLaurin is that good. He is a beast. So I'll give McLaurin his
He's finally got a quarterback. And I know the first couple of weeks they were saying, well, he's not throwing in the ball. What's going on? And then the Bengal game happened, and they haven't looked back since.
Yeah, it's good. All right, before we get to the Jets, I have one more question for you. Just curious now.
Yeah.
With the rookie quarterbacks, and I guess specifically like Drake May, Bo Nix, and Caleb Williams right now, they're all playing varying degrees of success, varying degrees of how good their teammates are around them. Caleb Williams, are we feeling positive? Do you feel like this is bad news bears, or do you think he has a chance still? Because a lot of people are starting to feel like they're out on Caleb Williams, and I don't subscribe to that just yet.
I mean, I think it's too soon to do that to him. But remember, he's also got plenty of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. The tight end, their running back Swift is good. Odunze, and you got DJ Moore. No disrespect to anybody on Washington's offense, but Jaden Daniels doesn't have those offensive weapons. You put Jaden Daniels have those weapons, forget it. But he doesn't have those weapons. But as far as Caleb Williams goes, he just looks too nervous back there for me. He's got happy feet, like you said earlier. He looks like the minute he doesn't see his first read, he wants to scramble play and think it's the playground. He's got to trust the offense. Another thing I don't like is that coach is probably going to be gone this year to make the playoffs. He's going to have to start over again. I think the Bears did him a disservice. The Bears should have brought in a new coach, new coordinator, knew everything with a rookie coach. Now he's going to have 2 offenses in 2 years. This doesn't work out in the NFL when you have coach after coach after coach with a young player. Hello, we've seen this happen in this town, So at Drake May, as far as Drake May goes, he looks much better than I thought he was going to look, but it's a small sample size and the Patriots stink. And then you got Bo Nix. Listen, anything was better than what Denver was doing with the last couple of seasons. Russell Wilson's playing well in Pittsburgh because he's not being asked to do too much, which is good for him. But Bo Nix, I'm not sold on him neither. I wasn't high. J.J. McCarthy in his draft, I wasn't high on him neither. It was for me. It was always, and go look at the tapes. You want to play the tapes? They're out there on the internet. It was Jaden Daniels number 1 for me the whole time.
Yeah, I do agree. It's too early to give up on Caleb Williams. I think the people who are out there saying like, oh, nah, he's cooked, he's going to be a bust, yada, yada, they didn't like him before the season started. And that's what it is. That's confirmation bias, in my opinion. And now you could argue right back at me that I'm using my not confirmation bias, but my bias because I liked Williams into the draft here. So I'm holding on for hope, right? So you can make the argument the same way.
Well, the one thing I will say for you in your argument, I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked if Cliff Kingsbury's one and done in Washington and he's the coach of the Bears. I know they interviewed him the offensive coordinator. He didn't take it. I think maybe the Bears realized they fucked up. I can say that. Yeah, fucked up. And then overpaid for Cliff Kingsbury to get him with Caleb Williams, seeing what he did with Jaden Daniels.
That or they throw a blank check at Ben Johnson from Detroit. I think that's the
other hot name that's out there. But I keep hearing Vegas for him with Shedeur Sanders.
That's interesting too. That's really interesting.
That's the other one. That is fresh start, fresh everything, offensive mind. With that, Shedeur Sanders in Vegas. The problem is, I think these other teams should not be afraid of Dion's dad. Of his dad, Dion. You're going to draft him, and that's it. He either plays or he doesn't play. It's that simple. If he doesn't play, you got to trade him. You're going to get a boatload of stuff for him, in my opinion. For the local team in this area, the Giants, I hate the Giants, and they need to do whatever it takes to get Shedeur Sanders in a Giants uniform. End of story. They need to do whatever it takes. They need a culture change. They need that swagger, need that confidence. And if Shedeur Sanders, and I'm going to say, because I don't give a fuck, if Shedeur Sanders was white, Giant fans will be all over him.
Oh, 100%.
100%. But since he's not white, then it's like, well, we don't want him because he's too cocky, he's too this, he's too that. The kid can ball. Daniel Jones stinks. Tommy DeVito, you slurped him. You want him to start. He's trash. Shedeur Sanders, Tommy DeVito couldn't make Shedeur Sanders cutlets, let alone lace up and play better than him. So enough with that crap. So
Agreed.
To me, the Giants need to do whatever it takes to get Shedeur Sanders in their uniform, and that'll be a complete change. Giant fans will regret ever talking shit that they don't want him on the team. Trust me, you do want him in a Giant uniform. He gives you that Broadway, that box office that your dead carcass of an organization desperately needs.
Desperate. I mean, it was baffling when Tyrod Taylor was starting for the Giants last year before he got hurt. There was like some stats about how the Giants have had like the least non-white quarterbacks in like the whole league. And it's like, God damn. And this whole thing of like, oh, this is an organization that's old school. It's like, yeah, but not in a good way right now because they're not looking at what's in front of them, which is amazing players and seemingly a guy who wants to compete his ass off too. Like Shedeur, Travis Hunter are literally 2 of the best players, and so many people are clouding themselves because of Dion's antics or whatever you want to even call it. I don't even like using that because they're playing good football in Colorado right now. Yeah, and those 2 players are great reasons why. Travis Hunter might be the best player in the freaking country, and Shedeur Sanders is the number 1 quarterback in the country. But the good news is that the Giants are doing a great job at sucking right now. So they might end up with that damn pick.
One thing I will say about the Giants, if they had a chance to, if it's between Henry and Hunter and Shedeur, which way do they go? Do they take the guy that can play corner and receiver, or they need a quarterback?
Is he playing both in the NFL?
I think he does, but not as much as he does in college. I think he starts off not playing as much, doing both, but I think he will do both because he's not going to be happy to go into a team that they won't let him do both.
Yeah, and maybe he becomes like a nickel on defense in certain packages and a full-time receiver or vice versa, right? Like full-time corner, part-time receiver.
He's a stud.
He's
He's a
insane,
stud.
dude.
Yes.
That it's out of control what he's doing
And
right
and,
now.
and,
I mean,
and
he's
I
the
feel
Heisman
bad.
winner in my opinion.
Yeah, and I feel bad because I'm not talking shit about the Giants coaching staff per se. You saw Brian Daboll, he was, slurping all over himself when he said, would you trade up for Jay and Daniels? He couldn't say yes fast enough. And
Yeah.
that was my point with Giant fans with that. We'll call to the station and say that, oh, you're just being a homer. Some didn't. They're like, you got somebody there. But that was my point. It's like, we have a game changer. I don't care what color he is. He's a game changer. The Giant fans need to stop thinking that stupid, narrow-minded crap. You need a winner, a player, a baller. You don't have that behind center. You haven't had that for a while.
Yeah, and frankly, I think the leadership is on the same page as you. Like Joe Shane also said it. He was like, "There is no chance in hell we get Daniels. He's gone. He's gone at 2. It doesn't matter. We can't get him." Remember his son in Hard Knocks was like, "Just go get Daniels. Get Daniels.
Yep.
Why can't you get Daniels?" He was like, "Do it." So yeah, we'll see what happens with the Giants. They stink. But yeah, let's move on to the Jets. Let's talk about the other team here in New York because unlike the Giants, it may be small, but the Jets still have this little inkling of hope here. They beat the Texans in a nice Thursday night win. You could play the game. Oh, if their kicker didn't suck, they could have 2 more wins. Oh, if this, if that, whatever. Play the game all you want. Their record's their record.
Yep.
Right now, they're 3-6. They're somehow technically second in the AFC East and not far off the wild card spot because the AFC is kind of a clusterfuck. But they have a schedule coming up here, Al, that includes the Cardinals this week, and then you get the Colts, Seahawks, Dolphins, Jaguars. Those next weeks, there's going to be a chance that the Jets are favored in every single game. Every single game. Honestly, all the way through week 17, when they play the Bills, the Jets might be favored every week. Is this hope that still exists one to latch onto, or is it fool's gold?
It's a week-to-week hope. That's what it should be. Jet fans should not be looking ahead. You did that last year. How'd that turn out? Super Bowl. You did that this season. We're going to Rodgers here. We're going to AFC Championship. How's that turn out so far? You need to focus on the week-to-week thing. You beat Arizona, you're 4-6. Then who they play next week, you said?
Sorry, it was on mute there for a second. Then they have the Colts and then the Seahawks.
All right, so the Colts, they don't know who their quarterback's going to be next week. Could be Flacco. Who the hell knows? It could be Jim Harbaugh coming to play quarterback for 1 week wearing a Colt uniform again. Nobody knows. We don't know. So the Jet fans just focus on Arizona right now. There'll be a lot of Jet fans there because a lot of New Yorkers out there. Win this game, and then it starts getting a little bit, the hopes get higher and higher and higher. But just don't gas yourselves up. Take it week to week, because just like that, it could be over. So a win against Arizona this Sunday, which I did pick the Jets to win. I'll give you that pick. I did take the Jets to win. I think with Adams and Wilson coming into their own together, and they're starting to figure out the running game together. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, he looks like he's 60 back there running around. It's painful to see him try to move around back there. It really is. But just win against Arizona and fight for another week. That's the way I see it. Don't look too far ahead. Week to week.
And this week is interesting because the Cardinals have been like that boom bust team. It's like, all right, they're going to play above their heads. They're going to lose a stupid game, whatever. But the one thing you said about the Cardinals before last week is they got no pass rush. And they played the Bears. And goddamn, did it look like they had a pass rush. Does that say more about the Bears or the Cardinals figuring something out on defense? I would like to lean towards the Bears offensive line as a travesty. So perhaps that's in the Jets' favor here. They're 2-point favorites this week. And again, I think they're going to be favored pretty much every week moving forward until they get to Buffalo in week 17. But like you said, that doesn't really matter. So you talked about the offense looking better. The defense is probably more of a reputation than a product right now.
100%.
Purely from an on-field perspective, do you at least see more positivity? Do you see them going in the right direction? Do you have confidence in them competing week to week?
In a way, because the Jets they're just strange, man. They could look so bad and then look so good. They dominate that New England game only to lose. That's a game they had no business losing, and they lost the game. It was ridiculous. This Jets team is so hard to predict. 1 week they're big time favorites and they shit the bed. Then another week they're underdogs and then they'll win. They look like they got the monkey off their back. You can see the sense of relief of that win on Halloween. You can feel it. The players talking to media all week. There's a sense of here we go. So I think they're playing the right opponent in Arizona. Like you said, they're boom or bust. My team smacked them by 30 in Arizona. The Jets just have to take this positive momentum from Halloween into this Sunday and just keep riding it. 4-6 is better than 3-7. You're still alive. The only thing I do worry about with the Jets is consistency. They have not shown that all season long, whether it's offense, whether it's defense, even special teams. They have not shown any consistency. When I start seeing positive consistency from them, my belief in them will go higher.
Yeah, and I think the Davante Adams aspect to this is a great thing for them because I don't want to say it feels like another adult in the room. I don't think that's the right way to phrase it, but it feels like another guy who's in lockstep with Aaron Rodgers. And you saw it was after Davante Adams' first game as a New York Jet, and he's talking about how the team was reacting to celebrating a big play or lack thereof, right? Like he called out his teammates after 1 week for not hyping up their guy after an amazing, Breece Hall ran like a 40-yard run, got knocked out of the 2. No one blinked an eye. And I feel like that aspect to it was needed because of the pressure the Jets put on themselves this season. They needed somebody else besides Aaron Rodgers who, his leadership style, we don't really know. We only hear what the media says. Davante Adams, proven, certified, whatever you want to say. He comes in there and is like, yo, let's get this together. Let's keep pushing the right direction. Let's pick each other up. And you saw it. By week 2, the Wilson-Adams combo looks like what you thought it should look like that quickly. So that's why I have some faith here in the Jets, and I also like them this week. But now it makes me nervous. Everybody likes the Jets again this week. Everybody's liked the Jets every week for 5 weeks in a row.
No, the one thing I will say in regards to the Jets having, week 2, their moment, kind of reminds me of the Mets. April and May, they were dead. They're looking to sell piece. Everybody said sell. Then they have a team meeting where Lindor spoke up and Nimmo spoke up, and then they took off. Well, we don't know if Rodgers spoke up because, we don't hear that through the media, but Adams did. He spoke up in the media and in the locker room. Now, Davante Adams, he rubbed me the wrong way in that Receivers documentary. I did not like him in that. He came off bad. He came off selfish. And to me, if I'm a former teammate of his and I'm hearing him say, well, the things you said in New York, what was this, bro? You quit on us. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you
True.
quit on us. That's the part that when I hear him talk, it's like, hey, bro, you quit on your team, bro. The going got tough. You wanted out. So to me, the play in the field is what matters to me, not the talking, the play in the field. If they if they can build off last week and play well, like I said, then I'll start to believe more and more in them. But if I was a Jet fan, I would just believe week to week. Don't get yourself gassed up.
I love it. All right. Al Cintron right here. You hear him on the fan. If you're listening to this on Friday, you could hear Al on the fan on Saturday morning, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Guess he'll be pushing the buttons on the other side of the glass. Yeah, boy. So a big weekend for me and you. Let's go. We're going to have some fun. I got to do some research on college football to hang with you for Saturday's conversation now. But we're going to have fun on that show over the weekend. But we're still here. We're not done just yet. Moving on from football, let's talk about the Knicks here for a little bit. They're off to a weird start. They're 3-4 right now. They have a game that's pretty big now against Milwaukee, who's off to a worse start than the
1-6.
Yeah, I think is it 1-7 now? I don't even know.
1-6, and the Sixers are also 1-6.
Insane, right? So here we are. The Knicks are 3-4. Varying degrees of success on offense. I would say varying degrees of success on defense is a little bit too kind to what they put out on the floor so far. But very much so finding cohesion, working at where they at. A lot of Knicks fans getting nervous. A lot of people starting to have regrets about the trade. What about you? Are you having regrets? Are you having nerves? What are you seeing from the Knicks so far?
It's a long fucking season. It's a long season. The last 2 seasons, the Knicks got off to 3-4 starts as well. But this is a new group of players. Listen, the Bosch, Wade, and James, and I'm not comparing Towns, OG, Bridges, and Brunson to them. I'm just saying they were more talented in terms of those 3. And they got off to an 8-9 start, and LeBron threw his towel in Spoelstra's face to try to get him fired, and Riley told him, go fuck yourself. So people tend to forget that. Basketball takes time to gel. You have Bridges was the number 1 guy in Brooklyn. Towns was number 1 for a long period of time in Minnesota, and then became number 2. Brunson was all they had pretty much offensively last season. OG, he knows his role. He'll put up 12 to 15, guard the other team's best 1 or 2 players, and sometimes the third. He knows his role. This Knicks team will be fine. To me, it's the first 25 games, and worst case scenario, all-star break. Then that's when you start to be like, uh-oh. And then there's the ace in the hole, and that is if Milwaukee keeps sucking, Giannis Antetokounmpo. That has been in the cards. That's been talked about. And then I was reading today that a player that would be in that trade would be a guy like OG Anunoby because of the money. Milwaukee would get some value back in him. And that's the name I heard. It wasn't moving Towns. It wasn't moving Bridges. It was keeping those guys together and OG being the odd man out in terms of a trade for Giannis. But I don't even want to think about that. The Knicks got Bridges and they have OG to guard Tatum and Brown in the postseason. That first game of the season, whatever, I didn't put too much into that because it was the first game together. Even when the Knicks blood Indiana by 30, I didn't put too much into that. Although I love seeing Halliburton with a Dunkin' Donut. No points. That was beautiful to see, that big mouth asshole. That was beautiful to see. But I'm not worried about this Knicks team. Anybody panicking after 7 games has probably never watched basketball or really doesn't know the game of basketball. It takes time to gel in basketball.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And I actually issued the same exact sentiment on my podcast earlier this week. I compared it to the LeBron Bosh Wade thing, man. It doesn't happen overnight. And
Nope.
to even use what you just said about the Knicks starting 3 and 4 last year, Dante DiVincenzo wasn't even a starter last year to start the season, right? So this idea that Knicks fans have in their head of, oh, like we're missing Dante, look how good he was in the playoffs. Yes, that's true. But remember that he was literally signed as a depth piece to start off last year. He wasn't the guy who we saw in the playoffs. And also he was playing above his head. He's shooting 30% right now for Minnesota. It's not a one-to-one. It takes more time than that. I get that Towns is not the style of Tibbs player that we got used to over the last 2 seasons. However, it is evident to me that this offense looks way better when he's on the court. He is spacing the floor. He's shooting 57 freaking percent from 3. He is attacking well. Brunson and his pick and roll has been really freaking good. So the offensive thing, which is why they made the trade, is working. The defense, I get it. It doesn't look good, but they have to recalibrate. Bridges and OG and Josh Hart. Last year, they were used to being ultra aggressive because they got Hartenstein and Mitch Rob cleaning everything up. Right now, you ain't got that guy. Mitch Rob's still out. Precious Achua is still out. That's going to help when the depth, when they come back. It's different. They have to recalibrate. They're going to. This is still so clearly a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. I can't fathom why people are saying, oh, this looks broken. The half-court offense looks broken. What are you watching? The offense looks great to me. They just play at a different pace than the Pacers. You see the Hornets play every single game in the freaking 140s because they play no defense and they run up and down the court. It's not how the Knicks play. They got the slowest pace in the league. Not always a good thing, but for Tibbs and for this team, it's how they play. Their offensive efficiency is top 5 in the league right now. The offense looks fine, and they'll figure out the defense.
The one thing I will say about the Knicks offense is this, and I'm not going to be one of these fans because I've seen some videos this week that are pretty disturbing, insulting Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson. Nobody gives an F about your podcast. We want wins, blah blah blah. The disrespect is it's also unwarranted. It's stupid. It's people looking for clicks and followers. It's stupid. The one thing I will say about the offense though is that Jalen Brunson looks like he's still stuck in last year's mode at times, and he doesn't have to be. And he needs to trust his teammates, and I think he will. He's a smart enough basketball player to realize that he has to trust his teammates. There was a play yesterday, and I saw it online posted, where he's dribbling around, and he gets a double team, and Karl Anthony Towns is wide open on the right-hand side for a 3. He doesn't pass him the ball. Like these are things he's gotta trust his teammates more, and he will in time. That takes reps. This is the equivalent of the first 4 weeks of the NFL season being preseason. The first 10 games of the NBA is like preseason as well for the NBA players. They don't really play in the preseason. Let's face it, they really don't. They play a couple minutes and then they're out. And they practice more than they do play in the preseason. But I'm not worried about the Knicks. I'll worry about the Knicks if it's All-Star break. Forget the 25 game All-Star break, and they're in the play-in spot. Then it's like, oh boy, what do we do? But the Knicks still have flexibility to do things. And I'm just right now, their depth concerns me. And when they get the pieces back, I'll feel better. But it's the depth that I'm worried about more than anything with this team. And defense, they'll get it together. They'll be on the same page. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, and of course, you never can trust Mitchell Robinson, but if he is playing, you feel so much better if he's playing. You feel better when Precious plays. I mean, looking at Precious minutes versus Jericho Sims and Huck Purdy, who we all kind of like right now, Precious is a better player than those guys. He's more consistent. He knows his role. We as Knicks fans know what he is and what he isn't. So when he's back in the rotation, you feel better. On the Brunson front, one thing that's interesting, and it's always funny to me. So I watch like as many Knicks games as humanly possible, and my wife is around, so she'll be tuning in every once in a while. She calls Jalen Brunson the ball hog. And now, granted, she's not tapped in. She don't know what he means to the city. She don't know what he's done for us,
Wait,
right?
did she watch Julius Randle and Carmelo Anthony years before that? Did she watch any of that?
Now we only been living together for 3 years, so she knows a little bit about Julius Randle, but no,
All right,
she ain't that tapped in. But she's watching
all right,
Brunson.
all right.
She's like, why is he the only one who's shooting? Like asking these very simple questions. It's kind of a joke now that she says that. She's like, oh, the ball hog is actually doing good tonight. But to her defense, because it is a funny thing that she doesn't know what she's really talking about, but it's funny. Sometimes I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, listen, Brunson, watch some of the other best point guards in the league. I think SGA is a great example of this. Steph Curry, obviously, being the best example of this, possibly of all time. You're going to get the ball back. Give it up. Let it move. In that game against Indiana and then Detroit and Miami, the best highlights that came out of that offensive performance from all three of those, the ball was flying around the perimeter, getting into Towns on the low post,
100%.
popping back out to Bridges. And then Brunson, you're going to get it back.
Yes.
You're still getting your 20 shots. Like, you're going to get your 25 to 28 points a game almost no matter what. I want to see him give it up. I want to see him catch and shoot a little bit more, if I'm being honest. So I'm not criticizing him because he obviously is the heart and the best player on this team.
For sure.
There's a recalibration that he needs to make as well, not on defense, but on offense, where he doesn't have to be Randall. He doesn't have to be Brunson last year when the whole team was hurt. This is different. Get Bridges going. Feed your guys, and then you'll get it back. You'll get it back.
Yeah, I feel the same way. This is a trust thing. He's got to trust his teammates. I think eventually he will. Losing to the Hawks might be the wake-up call. And Trae Young, your record against the Knicks is what again? Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. So you keep playing in front of a building with the other team's fans there. Your receding hairline, you schmuck. I used to be a Trae Young guy, bro. I used to love that dude in college. I was all for him. I wanted the Knicks to draft in a pair of Porzingis back in the man. That guy's the epitome of a non-winning player. He's just that. But get back to Jalen Brunson. If he trusts his teammates, everything will be fine. It's going to take time. Remember, he did everything the last 2 seasons, even with Randall there,
Right.
and then and we need him healthy. The most important thing is, and somebody tweeted this out and I saw this, the Knicks lost, but nobody got hurt, which health for the Knicks is key. If the Knicks get to the playoffs healthy, nobody's going to want to see them in the playoffs. I'll tell you that right now. I said it last year. I want Boston. I want all the smoke. Bring them all on.
I couldn't agree more, Al. This is great. Anything else stand out to you? Just like, because we're gonna say goodbye here in a second here. Anything else NBA wise or NFL wise that you just want to get off your chest right now? Is there anything else standing out to you? I know you have a lot on your chest always that you're ready to rip off, but anything else jump out? Last words?
Yeah, it couldn't have happened to a better city than Philadelphia. What's going on with their basketball team? My basketball team fans invaded your building, took over your building, and won a series. Knocked you guys out. Then my Mets beat the Phillies in the playoffs. Our Mets beat the Phillies in the playoffs. I was in the building for both of those games. It was beautiful. And watching that game with Spike standing right next to me, a Phillies fan, with Ike, his host in Philly, standing next to him, and I was with Evan and Tommy, yelling and screaming, like maniacs. That felt amazing. And Gallo's with us. And now the Philadelphia 76ers, shout out to Gallo as well. Now the 76ers, you get Paul George, you have Tyrese Maxey, and you have Joel Embiid. And Sixer fans go crazy. And I said, you shouldn't. They have to do it in the playoffs. When are you guys going to learn your lesson? They have to do it in the playoffs. And now Embiid plays in the Olympics, doesn't show up for the regular season. And his first game back is going to be against the Knicks. That should be fun. That's what was reported. Paul George, hurt in the preseason. Never big in the playoffs. Had a decent playoff last season. Never big in the playoffs. Maxey, hamstring. Great. I like Maxey. Good player. I'm not going to say great. Good player. But they're 1-6. Milwaukee, 1-6. What happened? What happened to these teams? These are supposed to be, the Knicks were expected to be 5th or 6th in the East, if you listen to these stupid experts, even this season. Cavs, 9-0. I don't give a shit about they can go 82-0. The Cavs don't mean dick to me come the playoffs, because the Knicks will smack them around come the playoffs. They're 9-0. What the fucking do? I don't care. The one thing I will say is that the Warriors, and I'm happy to see it for Steph because I love Steph Curry. Always been a fan. They're not dead yet. They're
No, they're playing
7-1.
great ball.
Yes, they went into Boston yesterday. Curry had an amazing second half. So much for Jason Tatum putting up a quadruple double versus Steve Kerr and the Warriors when he saw them. He owes them one. That didn't happen. The Warriors right now, to me, OKC, I expected the biggest surprise in the NBA right now for me is the Golden State Warriors for sure. As far as football goes, I love seeing the Giants suck. Can't happen to a nicer fan base. I love it. I tried to tell you idiots last year, take the under 6.5. You didn't listen. Under 6.5. I told you the same thing this season. Take the under 6.5. Well, you're going to Germany with the Panthers to put the German fans to sleep. I mean, thank God that game's at 9:30 in the morning, 'cause I'm going to sleep through that shit. I'm not watching that nonsense.
too.
I'll wake up for the fourth quarter maybe, and hopefully Bryce Young, who I'm taking, by the way, plus 6.5 this week, Carolina. I took him last week versus the Saints to win outright. I'm taking him this week, plus 6.5 versus the Giants. And what else do you want to, baseball, whatever, hot stove, let's see what happens. But that's pretty much it. I write stuff down, 2 to 5 Saturday morning on the fan. I'm going to let it rip. No curses because I don't want to get in trouble. And, you know how it goes. I just let it fly.
Hell yeah, bro. It's always a blast, too. Always a blast to chop it up.
I'm looking forward to it. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we worked on the fan. So I like the music and stuff. So make sure you have a great playlist ready. Great playlist ready. So the pressure's on.
I got you,
All
bro.
right.
There's gonna be a little inside baseball here for people, but if they're still listening an hour into the podcast, they deserve to hear something. At the fan, like there's the music thing, right? There's like a button for our music, and it rotates all these different songs. And maybe sometimes I delete certain ones to skip to the other ones. So hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to keep the vibes right at 3 a.m. That's
no. Listen, the music's everything to me. When I hear rock and roll back to back commercial, when we come back from commercials, it's weird. I don't have when I hear a song that brings back great times, then that energy gets kicked up another notch. And I always have the energy, but when you hear that, oh man, all right, boom, there you go. And I can't tell you how many times people have texted me or messaged me and said, love the music. So it's important to the listeners as well. Trust me on that.
Yeah, you gotta set the vibes, man. That's right.
Yes, sir.
And just like the Knicks are working on their continuity, the Cavs have perfect continuity right now, which is why they're starting off a foot above everybody
That's
else.
fine.
Who else has perfect continuity? Al Cintron and Pete Kennedy
Yeah,
on the fan, on Subway Sports Talk, wherever it may be. Al Cintron, you're the best. My infamous take on Twitter. Obviously, you know where to find him on the fan and
YouTube channel will be relaunched. I've been working on that. I'm trying to figure out producer. I'm thinking of doing a co-host thing with me as well. So we'll see how that happens. I'm just trying to figure stuff out. There's just a lot of shit going on in my life, bro, and I don't want to get into that here, but I want to get that going. I know we were going to do picks. We'll do that on the show, 2 to 5 a.m. if you want. I'll do my college picks. I'm 48-33, and in NFL, I'm 39-26. So let's keep that going. And, let's have a blast on Saturday morning, brother. I appreciate you having me on. And let's go Mets. Let's get that Soto deal done.
Let's go. Yeah, I wish my picks were as good as yours right now. We'll release our picks, the Subway Sports Talk picks, with Pat Boyle as part of that as well, and one of our 2 of our other buddies. I'm
nice.
Right now I am 13, 15, and 1 or something like that.
Pros?
Not feeling good. NFL only, yeah. NFL only.
How many games you got?
3 picks a week.
Oh, you do 3 a week. Okay.
3 a week, and right now I'm 2 games under. Not feeling. I just had an 0-3. I was on a good run. I had 4 or 5 straight winning weeks, and I got the 0-3. The 0-3 is a freaking killer, bro.
No, I do the local teams. I do the local teams, and I do 5 pro picks. And in college, I've been riding. I've been rooting for them all season. Indiana Hoosiers.
They're killing everybody.
I love watching them play. They're fun to watch. They've been, that football team, that program has been down the dumps. They had a moment here and there, but they've been down the dumps. They're 13.5 point favorites versus Michigan this week. I'm taking them minus 13.5. I've been riding Boise State because they've been blowing people out as well. And I've been riding Tulane as well when it comes to my picks. I'm taking
shout out New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm taking Tulane. I'm taking the Hurricanes. I'm taking Indiana. These are 4 I'll give you right now, and I'm taking Boise State. Those are 4 of the 7. The other 3, tune in Saturday morning, 2 to 5 a.m., 888-808-1019 with your boy Al Cintron on the fan with Pete Kennedy behind the glass.
Hey, yo, there we go. That's a radio pro right there. You know what to do. Thank everybody for listening. Subway Sports Talk. You know where to find us. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, don't matter. Wherever you listen, we appreciate y'all the same. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, leave a comment, the whole 9. If you're still listening right now, it means you enjoyed the hell out of this episode. So give us some love back. We appreciate y'all. For Al Cintron, Pete Kennedy, we'll talk to y'all soon. Cheers.